Absolutely, still reveling in the spirit of Thanksgiving for a brand new year. We're super excited, super privileged to be counted amongst the living. Gratitude fills our tongues or our mouths, as the case may be. I played you something from Danny Crane, and the title of that song is Me. Whatever prayers you're praying for the year 25, I'm saying a big fat amen. I mean, amen, I mean, amen. I share, whichever way, whatever language, a big fat amen to your prayers. Welcome to 25, the very first suyo for the year. And I have my co-suyoist together. We will begin the suyo of 25. Join me as I welcome to kickstart the very first episode, the very first, this is a very good one, the very first big talk for the year 25. What a coincidence. I have with me my co-CEOist, the State Director, Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network, Twicom himself, Franklin Esong. Good morning to you and a happy new year. Welcome to the first flight of the year.
Good morning, Captain of the flights. Happy 2025. And all our listeners, I want to also say a happy 2025 to you all. You've made our 2024 a worth being here. Without you, we will not be here. We come because we know that you listen to us, and we know that the government also listens to us, and that what we do here also contribute to the governance of the state. So once again, a big happy new year to every one of us.
Fantastic. Our focus today is going to be a review of 24. It's a series I started since last year, and I'm going to be continuing as I do sectoral review. So as we review 24, it's important that we focus strictly on Akwa Ibom. So I'm going to be asking you some of the highs and lows of 24, moments of 24, happy moments of 24, remarkable moments of 24 in Akwa Ibom, and sad moments of Akwa Ibom, of 24 in Akwa Ibom. So where do we begin from, Twicom? Do we begin with the happy or the sad?
I think the happy should be the
since we're saying happy new year. Okay, so let's look at the happy moments of Akwa Ibom in 2024 in Akwa Ibom. For you, can you just chronicle a couple of the moments in 2024 that you look back and say, yes, this is what I want for Akwa Ibom going forward?
Let me start with the happy moment. Even though we have in between, we have call it sad moment, and we had a hard time. Let me start with the one in the middle, which is for me and for Center for Human Rights and for the CSOs in Akwa Ibom State, the happiest moment is the fact that we have a style of a government, a style of leadership that listens to the people. This for the CSOs, for the media community, and for every good thinking Akwa Ibom citizen, it's a good omen that for once in Akwa Ibom State you have a leader as a governor who listens to the people, who wears the people's shoe, who governs with empathy, who understands what the people are going through, who mourns with us, who shares in our sorrow moment, who also rejoices with us in our joyful moment. I say this with all amount of responsibility, because the governor has always been in and out of every event or every family that has challenges, one after the other. If I want to begin to recount, there are so many of them, but I could just pick 2 or 3. The first was the what is it called? Is it costume or design?
Okay.
Abigail.
Yeah.
What's her name
was
again?
Involved in that boat crash.
Junior Pope. It was involved.
Yeah.
The governor went to the family to share in the sorrowful moment.
That was a makeup
artist, Abigail from Eket. Governor went to the family to share in their sad moment. We also had one of our colleagues who lost his brother, who was shot dead along the airport road, on his way back from farm, was by some, unknown gunmen. The governor visited the family and shared in their sad moment. And then the ones who have joyful moments like celebration, birthday, and the rest, he has always been there, sharing in their joyful moment. And then when we come here to also, highlight issues that need the attention, that needs the government intervention, the government will react and respond responsibly. You could have a government that when you speak, they will instead of responding positively to your advocacies, they come and, tongue-lashed or criticize or even come to, react.
Even attack.
Or attack, either verbally or otherwise. But here you have a system of government that seem to be listening to everyone. And then the governor also came up with a policy that seemed like all party, inclusive, kind of inclusive leadership system, where you have you don't even have other parties again, apart from the one party. Seem like you have a one party system in the state. Because if you have a Thanksgiving today, like we'll be having solemn assembly in a few days' time, you will see every person involved, every person in the state, the who is who from all the parties will be there. You will have the Akwa Ibom Karo festival. You had everybody attending. So this for us in Akwa Ibom State, people like us who have been around since 1999, is for me and for us, it's a good omen. Good omen because you never had the past governors attending a function together. It's always been either one past governor will attend, the other will not attend. But since the emergence of the Pastor Moino administration, you can see all the past governors, except they're not in town, except anyone is not in town. And if he's not in town, he will send someone to represent him in the public function of the state. This, for us, is a joyful moment because you seem to have peace. Before now, you'll be having, cross-media attacks from camps. You have political groupings. You have political camps. You have the Abuja front. You have the Uyo base, and then you will have people going to the media. You will be reading all manner of things on social media. You recall even before the election.
The state was hot.
Was very hot. You could be seeing at a point, you will wonder whether social media was created for only Akwa Ibom people. But right now, if you flip through your social media pages, very hard you will see any negative report in Akwa Ibom State or from Akwa Ibom State or from any person against the state government or state, as a whole. Now, what we are now having is River State. What we are having today in River State used to be in Akwa Ibom, where you have the Abuja front and the home front. But today we have now exported it and sent it away. It has left Akwa Ibom State now to other states like River State and the rest. So for us in Akwa Ibom State, it's a thing of joy that we have peace and we have an ambience of of joy, where you can sleep with your two eyes closed, where the political temperature is not hot, it's not heated up.
Just as an addendum to what you're saying, Otwekon, one thing for me, as you rightly did say, one of the happiest moments for me as a resident of Akwa Ibom, working here, living here, is the inclusive system of government.
That's the point.
That I saw the governor display a very high level of, cohabitation, accommodating political parties. I mean, you didn't have him throw jabs or get involved
or
in
make
political conversations. I mean, he demonstrated maturity, he demonstrated leadership, and he proved to Akwa Ibom people that they made the right choice.
Yes.
And that he's a pastor. He demonstrated that in 24.
Yeah, you see, let me also add this. Why I picked this as the high point of 2024 is because the contest that brought in the governor was so heated up. The governor had over 29 cases in court. The first ever largest number of court cases. That over 5 or 10 went to Supreme Court. This is ever in the history of Nigeria, where you will have election, before election and after election, you will have over 29 cases. I think there is a book that was written by our friend and colleague, senior colleague, Adetusen, who I think the governor's aide, one of his aides, wrote a book and listed out the journey that the governor, embarked to becoming a governor. And you could see that the governor had passed through a very tight rope, walked through the tight rope and emerged as governor. Such a person would have been so hard on and harsh on even his opponent and other parties. Such a person before now would have drawn political line and battle line and say, these people are the ones who are against me. It is now we against them. We are now in power. They will be there and we'll put them where they belong. That is what would have been before today. That's what would have been in the state. But here you see, from the day one of the government in 2023. In June, sometime in June, he had the launch of the Arise agenda, and those invited were those who were in the other camp, who we are working against his emergence at the Icon Hotel, then as he then called, and they had that brainstorming blueprint for the state under his leadership. After then, you now keep having activities where he will invite those of the other parties to attending government functions. And then you now get to see where you see the past governors attending the function with him. There was a particular function where you had the 3 past governors attending. The one that wasn't there was Senate President, whose wife was there to represent him. I think that took place at the worship center here, where you had the 3 past governors at the function represented. Physically 2 were there, Obamota and Governor Udom, Dikon Udom. Then Senator Akwa Ibom wasn't there, but the wife represented him.
I don't mean to go back, but before he left office, he had dropped that ticket. He had said,
Mr. Udom, yeah.
So I just needed to correct
he
had dropped that.
Yeah, Mr. Udom,
specific by saying, "Don't call me Dickon no more."
Mr. Udom Emmanuel was in that event. You had Obamota was there. Then Senator Akwa Ibom wasn't there, but the wife represented him. And this is the 3 past governors that we have. The 3 civilian governors that we had. Though we had the other military government that also came. But the 3 past civilian governors that came in from 1999 till date had always been attending public functions. So this is the first time we are having such kind of an accord and unity. And that is why perhaps you are having this peace that we are having in the state. As you will be having camps, political gladiators. By now, in fact, from last year you have been having campaign for who becomes the next governor. But because there is that inclusive nature of governance, everyone seems to be carried along and blend with the government. So for me, that is the high point for me. Then in the issue of achievement, this again marks the high point of 2024. First ever in the history of Akwa Ibom that we'll be having ministerial review where the governor himself will set the tone and say, now call the people of the city, come and appraise me. This is the first ever.
And Otwegom, just to add, since I also came to Akwa Ibom, this is the first ever, that we'll see a governor call the commissioners one by one and say, come and
answer to your queries.
One by one.
That's
reply.
it.
And I've never seen
in the press conference
scold a commissioner
publicly before the press.
He did that.
That's
where he even came out on one of those occasions and said, why don't you just tell the people the truth? Why are you coloring your thing? You're going left, you're going right. I was very impressed. I was very impressed because before now, is it that the Commissioner for Information is the one talking or the governor is talking? Well, here you are. In 24, we saw that largely.
Yes.
A governor who wanted the commissioners to speak to the people about what they were doing. For me, that was one of the high points. That's another high point.
Yep. So you can now see that you have a situation in the state. Now you now move to, like I mentioned, the issue of achievement. Of course, we had a press conference where we thank you, media Pali. I think you were also there. And we took time to reel out over 20 items that we use as the basis to appraise his government. The reason is that the governor, like I keep on saying, is it's like someone who is dancing to a music tune. He will not see his back. It is us, the watchers. It is the spectators that will tell him how he is, dancing, whether his steps were in tune with the music that is being played. So we took time to outline, to marshal out our indices and be able to appraise the governor. And key amongst our appraisal was the fact that prior to, his 100 days in office, you had that division among the Traditional Rulers Council because of the amendment to the Traditional Rulers of 22 of the state that was amended. And that almost, like you said, divided. For that, and the matter even went to court. For the matter to have been resolved the way it was resolved, and today you don't know the ethnic margin any longer in the state. You don't know the division again, that if at all it existed. You never know that any such thing existed. For me, that is another high point. The governor could have said, okay, fine, I am the governor. I cannot go back to what I have said. I stand by what I said. That law will remain. And then the state will continue to be in turmoil. But he went back and called the stakeholders, put up a committee, reviewed the law, and today we have the unity that we used to have in the state before he came on board. That is another high point for Akwa Ibom State. Another high point of the state was the fact that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, led by the Attorney General of the Federation, went to the Supreme Court and secured the local government autonomy, which we have been advocating for. And that judgment gave a timeline for elections to be conducted into local government administration. And in Akwa Ibom, we had election in the state in October 5th. And election took place where we had people who are elected now to man the local government system in line with the Section 7 of our Constitution. That those who will man the local government system must be those who are elected to man the system. And now the fundings for the councils, as directed by the Supreme Court, will now be paid directly to the account of local government councils. So this for us in Akwa Ibom State now is a high point, that we have people who are in Akwa Ibom State who are elected. The governor came in, of course, he would have put up a committee to continue to run the system as long as he wished. But in compliance with the Supreme Court judgment, he had set up the machinery, and today we have people who are elected to man the local government system. The rest is for us now to begin to police the local government system and know how they are carrying out their activities. The governor will not be there. He will not be everywhere to know how the chairmen are operating. That is what we will now be looking for in 2025, to begin to know how they are running their councils, if they are actually doing what they ought to be doing. We will come back here to do, progress report. Then come the sad moment for the state.
No, before we go to this sad moment, you also didn't mention the local government elections, which was also very controversial. We had local government elections.
Okay.
And one sweet thing that the governor said, which I liked, although who am I? I'm not supposed to give an opinion here. As a journalist, I'm supposed to just anchor. But one very controversial moment of those elections was the outcome of the local government elections. He saw a lot of tongues wagging. But there was something that the governor said, which I particularly liked. He said, go out there and sell yourselves. Go out there and campaign, convince people. He could have just taken advantage of the power of the incumbency and, go ahead and just say, don't campaign, don't worry, we'll know how to do it. But he was very frontal, and he was very, very vocal about it, where he said, don't just go back and relax and think because the political party, the PDP controls the state and then you will not campaign. Go out there and campaign. Go out there and sell yourself. And that for me was a very wonderful moment in 24. Speaking about the governor, you rarely find governors do this. They just tell their guys, relax, we know what to do, don't worry, let the others campaign, and then you go in, now relax.
Okay.
Even though we were not satisfied with the outcome.
Yes, you see, I didn't want to speak about the outcome. Reason is that the outcome was expected, because we are not working engagement where we invited all the other parties as well as the architect to a round table. You were there at that event, and we did not see that the other parties didn't turn up. That meeting was supposed to have a peace accord. Apart from, all the parties boycotted it. But one party was always on ground, campaigning, going around, lobbying. Because election, first, what you must note that election has to do with people, has to do with connection, has to do with contact, has to do with canvassing, has to do with lobbying. I can tell you, even when I'm not from some local government areas, those who were campaigning for the office from one party that finally won came to lobby me. Do I have a vote in those areas? The answer is no. But because they see what we do here as advocacy group, they felt that we should be contacted and informed that they are aspiring for offices. But one party or the other parties refuse to even reach out or even have a media conference or even talk to the media or sell their manifestos. We came here simply to ask, who are these? You came here, we've been doing review here, And we say, where are these other parties? Where are they? Where are they? We went to Akisek and got the list of so many parties who have shown interest to contest. And but they refuse to go out to sell their manifesto to the people because they believe that it will be a carry-go, syndrome. They had believed they had already considered to defeat. So the outcome was already expected. That is just the truth. So that is why I didn't want to go into that outcome issue. Because when you already concede to a defeat, then when whatever comes out of it, you take it. That is why I dare say, let those who had campaigned come out to say, we campaigned. We told all the words in our LGA. We told all the polling units. And then at the end of the day, we couldn't make it because one party, hijacked material or so. Then we'll come back here to review our stand. But until then, my stand and that of the CSO in the state is that one party will emerge victorious because the other parties were indolent, the other parties were docile, the other parties were sleeping over their function as other parties and allowing one party to win. And even the party agent that ought to represent the party of the other camp had to even go to bed. That was why at the end of the day, when they were doing returns, I did not hear any party come out to raise any objection to say in so polling unit, so thing happened. But nothing happened. You don't see any agent come out to raise any issues. So that is why the outcome was expected. Truth is that we are making progress. And the progress, as we progress, the other parties will now wake up from their slumber and begin to build, their energy, knowing that even though you have a party in the center, that is in the state capital, at the local government level, after all, in the same with them, another party won. Another party won in the same with them. So how did he emerge? How did the person emerge? The Senate president, of course, had to pull, work harder because, of his contact. Politics has to do with contact, connection, lobbying, moving around, working all night and all day to emerge. So those other areas where this person didn't emerge, even as councillor, they should tell us if they had actually worked for it and they lost. And if they had worked for it and they lost, have they gone to court to challenge the outcome? The answer is no, because they knew that they had no case to even file at the tribunal. So that is why I said the outcome was long, expected, even when the governor had anticipated that the other parties would go out to campaign against the party in power, but they did not. So at the end of the day, the winner will emerge and Akisek will do a job and announce.
Twicko, there's so much we can analyze here. There's so many high points of 24 in Akwa Ibom State. Let's not forget, for you, the listener, we're looking at the year 2024 in Akwa Ibom State. We're just, randomly picking up high moments, high and low moments in Akwa Ibom. So we're talking about the high moments of 24, and we're chronicling, if you like, some of the wonderful moments, some of the remarkable moments in Akwa Ibom that we saw His Excellency the Governor display leadership and some of the turn of events of 24. But here comes the other low moments. Let's talk about low moments in Akwa Ibom, because of course we're reviewing 24 in Akwa Ibom. For you, if you will tell us some of the low moments as an Akwa Ibomite, some of the low moments in the state in 24.
Let me start with maybe I will pick the loss of the First Lady, which was, very dear to the people of the state, very dear to us. She came from Parenin, where I'm from. My sister, very lovely one, a dear mother to all, and she had a large-hearted, during her existence. She was a mother to so many, and she was able to mobilize women to work for the success of the husband's, the governor's election. You recall there was a time there was a very heated, statement that were made about the governor, and this comments were like running down the governor, And then she came up and said that even the person you're talking about is a golden boy. He gave him a name that today, become what you now call golden era. And that became like, one of the key statements that was made by her that was used for the campaign. You had the golden era, you had the golden this, golden that for the state. That statement came from her, came from the depth of a mother, came from somebody who saw, who saw that we are in a state that could actually, experience what we are experiencing today. But sadly, she's not here with us to see how the government is moving. The government that she worked for, that she toiled for, that she labored for. That, for us, was a very sad moment. And till today, I doubt if we ever recover as a state from that particular loss of the first lady. You recall so many flags we have flown half-mast all over this country, not only here because President came, the Senate President and other governors, we are all here to mourn with the state and the governor. So the state lost, someone who worked hard to restore peace, who worked hard for the success of the government, but never lived to enjoy the fruit of her labor, and never lived to see how the government that she worked for, that she toiled for, is running on a smooth sail. And that low moment or sad moment is the loss of the CP. Wahib, CP Wahib, who was posted to Akwa Ibom State, was a very dear brother and friend to the CSOs and to the media community. I recall he even came here severally to speak with you and your programs. I recall severally when he sees me, he will say, "Comrade, have you heard this? Have you done that?" And each time we hear, when there was to be a protest, when there was a protest, the 10-day protest that was called by the CSOs, we call it End Bad Governance protest. He called me severally. He engaged us severally to say, "Don't protest. We'll discuss on a round table. We can discuss with you." I recall a particular moment when the CSOs went to meet with him. And he look at one of us and said, you that has a fat tummy, are you still going to protest? You that look like, are you still hungry? You, the way you look. And we all laugh. He was a jovial, CP that understood his onions, and he reached out to people. We had our June 12 election, our June 12 symposium at our center, and then he was invited to be among the guests. We gave the event. The time was 11. By 11 dot, before 11. He went there to put his men on ground, and then he called me. I was still on program. Then it was 10 p.m. It was 10 a.m. I was still here. He was already there by 9:45. I was here. He was calling me. He said, "Comrade, I'm already in your center. My men are all here. Okay, let me leave. I'll come back." And he left and came back, and he stayed at the event all through. And after the event, we kept discussing issues in Akwa Ibom State. You recall when there was and other areas when you had issues of kidnapping, he personally lead the team. He doesn't stay behind and give his. He goes himself. When we went around during the local government tour. Let me shock you. Like during the local government tour that we went with the House of Assembly, the CHRAN went around, and one of the things we found out was each time we meet with the council chairman, we find out if the CP had come to visit the local government areas, and the answer would be yes. So he had been on ground, and within the space of 3 months, he had tore all police formations, he had tore all police units, he tore all the local government, divisional police units, and got, first-hand knowledge of what is happening at local government areas. He understood the onions of his job and was able to police the state. But sadly, when he traveled to Lagos on Monday, on Sunday, my daughter played a golf tournament and won. And I posted the picture on my status, on WhatsApp status. He saw it. He called me and said, he now spoke with my daughter and said, by Wednesday, when I'm back, I will see you with your prize. I will meet you, we'll have a handshake. And we all, laugh and crack joke. But sadly, on Tuesday, I was at the House of Assembly for a public hearing, and I got the news that he lost his life. So shocking. So this is a man that, that came, saw, and conquered. But he left in the wave of 2024. So this was a low moment for us in the state. Now, what I want to add, apart from the low moment, is the hardship that we had as a result of the fuel subsidy removal by the federal government that came in from 2023 and spilled over to 2024 and is still dragging into 2025, but with a lesser impact because people have now begun to adjust to the hardship. And I speak to you now, there is so much of hardship. The expensive drugs are now expensive. You cannot get drugs in pharmacy or anywhere. Medical treatment is expensive. Fees high. School fees are high. House rent have been increased.
And this is January.
January.
We're going to be paying house rent,
school fees, medical, shop and the rest. Hardship that came from 2023 is still dragging into 2025. It drove through 2024 into 2025. And today the cost of commodity in the market is expensive. Naira has risen, as against dollar, and then fuel is on a high side. Fuel is about 1,200 that I bought last time.
You mentioned fuel, but whilst we talk about the low moments of 2024 in Akwa Ibom, you forgot to mention that moment when we had that fuel situation in Akwa Ibom State.
That is when Hitman.
Yeah, that moment with
when Hitman Dan Tools. Hitman and the Federal Task Force.
Exactly. That saw us
engaging with the SA to the governor on media, on this thing.
Pay as much as 2K
yes.
per litre.
That is
the low moments of 24.
Yes, you see, some of the low moments that we had in terms of hardship were mitigated by the deliberate policy of the state governor, like the bulk purchase agency, like sharing up of palliatives. He came up with palliative committee that the governor set up to begin to look into the issue of hardship that came from the first subsidy, put in the labor, put in the CSO, put in the technocrat into a committee. We went, drafted a position and gave to the government, which has become a working document for the governor. Let me add, the governor has in our own review, has worked with and implemented part of what we proposed as a committee, part of which include payment of bursary. You recall before he came on board, there was no bursary. Bursary wasn't paid. He came and began to pay and increase the bursary from 10,000 to 20,000 naira and increase it and begin to pay those who are doing special courses like law and medicine as high as 250,000 naira pay students. And then the issue that we also added was the issue of gratuity. And he met over 85.2 billion unpaid gratuity to those who have labored and served the state, and he came and he paid 37,000 that was paid. Sorry, he paid 37 billion had been so far paid to gratuity to those who have saved the state. And then he also put up some mechanisms to addressing hardship that we are having in the state. So part of what we are still having is the deliberate policy of the federal government, which is the fuel subsidy removal. But I'm thankful to the fact that we have the NNPC is now functioning. That is, the Port Harcourt refinery is now working. I heard that the Warri refinery has also come on stream and working up to 80% also. Let's hope that when we have enough supply, the prices will crash. Because I think last time I saw Dangote has crashed its own price to up to 950, right?
I think up
to 930 also.
We're seeing 935, 965.
Then we also, believe that the NNPC has also, adjusted their own price. And by the time we now begin to have and again, let me also add, I don't forget that in 2024, we had Port Harcourt refinery functioning. Now we also had the Warri refinery also functioning. This also will affect the economy of Akwa Ibom State. It was because when we have enough of petrol, it will affect the cost of petrol in Akwa Ibom, and that will reduce the hardship we are facing. This is what I can say so far in 2024, that as we are reviewing the activities of the state.
All right. Don't forget, we're looking at 2024. I started a series which bordered more on the review of events of 2024. We're still fresh in the year 25, and so we'll still be reviewing 24, and then we'll bring you into the conversation. Are there moments, highs and lows for you as an Akwa Ibomite? We would like to have you bring them to the table, even as we are in the year 2025. What are those low moments for you that you didn't like about what happened in Akwa Ibom State? What are the very high moments for you that you liked about what happened in Akwa Ibom State? And, by extension, what you expect to see continue and more in 2024. Am I saying 24? 2025. Okay, it's 0906. But I'm seeing the flag. Okay, that was the governor's address. That was the governor's address this morning. And that looked a bit more like the president. I thought, because I've been expecting the president's address, but what I saw is a statement of his address, but I'm waiting for the president to talk. I'm one of those Nigerians. But the one on our TV now, on ADBN, was the president's address. I mean, the governor's address. Address to Akwa Ibom people. So let's listen to you, 0906 000 4945, 0906 000 5945. Messages 0906 000 9455. We are reviewing 24 in Akwa Ibom State. Highs and lows, the moments of 24. Hello, we lost that one there. Okay, not a very good way to start. The lines are beeping though, but I reach out for the lines and then we're having drop calls. Hello, good morning. Hello, caller, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Happy New Year, welcome. May we meet you?
Welcome to all of you there in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Happy New Year.
What the ACNF just said. It's a place, don't be offended.
Sorry. Are you sure you're listening to what we're saying? We are talking about the year 2024. First off, you called my guest the wrong name. His name is Otwekon Franklin Isong.
Good morning.
And then we are reviewing the year 2024. Please, sir, are you following us? Okay, please. So let your contribution be about what we reviewed, sir.
Good morning, sir.
And I can. Good morning.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Please, my only problem is that the government should do something about the fuel. If the fuel can come down, then all other things, I think, will go down for the less privileged, especially those in the village, will be able to buy things. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Okay, we're still taking your contributions. We have reviewed the year 24 in Akwa Ibom. Are there moments we missed as we talked about the highs and lows of 24? Would like to hear from you as you bring yours to the conversation. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, Joe.
Hi, guys. I want to simply say that Akwa Ibom would have achieved a lot. And if I say that I have seen anything that we have achieved here, I may be speaking like a psychopath or somebody, maybe I'm dancing someone's tune. The reason I say so is that I think in our Bible State we should start to believe that governance is not a playing of politics. After election, everything that should be done should be governance, should be implementing certain policies that we do in the next year in the state and the one that we have from the federal government. My point in a summary is that if the leadership of Akwa Ibom State want to do anything, they should do that thing to benefit everybody. And with the governor, when he came here, he was talking about walking across the party line. But truly, we can see that that is not true. I'm not against it.
Joe, if you say that's not true, we will have to argue that. But unfortunately, we do not have the luxury of time as commercial is beckoning. Joe, thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Let's do commercials. We'll be back.